One of the most successful books of all time in the personal development space is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Have you read the book? Almost every single successful person that I know of have read that one way or the other sometime in their life, including me. But I think most people, they don't really understand the book, or they read the book with what I call a filter. They don't actually get what Napoleon Hill was trying to teach them, and the message he wants to convey. So how do you actually think and grow rich? By think and grow rich, it doesn't mean you just sit there and run the ball. That's not think and grow rich. That's called meditate and grow poor. That's not think and grow rich. So what does it mean now? If you read the book itself, almost everybody likes to know desire. Having the desire, having that focus, having that drive to be successful. Everybody loves that chapter. But the chapter that I think is the most important, that almost nobody talks about, is 11. That is accurate thinking. Accurate thinking. What does accurate thinking mean? Now, I'm not talking about critical thinking. Critical thinking is analyzing the agenda and thoughts of others. Accurate thinking is you're looking at any situation or yourself or whatever is happening. What is true? What is true and relevant? That's called accurate thinking. It is the most difficult to do. Anything that we do, it is most difficult. If you were to ask, take away everything I have, take away all the tools that I have in business, in sales, in marketing, everything I have, but I can leave me with one thing, what would I say? Without hesitation, I would tell you. Not necessarily just how much more, but the ability to think what is going on. Thinking time. Most people don't think enough. Henry Ford said it best. Thinking is the hardest work there is. That's why so few people engage in it. What do I mean by thinking? Does that mean you lock yourself in a room and just sit there and let whatever thoughts that come to mind and that's thinking? No. Let me teach you how to think. This is probably, to the right person watching this, it is the most valuable skill, the most valuable lesson that I could teach you. This is literally the one thing that has made me who I am today. The one thing that created Dan Lok. One thing, and that's thinking time. Here's how it works. The way you think is very simple. You get yourself in a quiet environment. Maybe you turn on some music, doesn't really matter. Thinking is nothing more than asking yourself profound and deep questions. That's what thinking is. I'll say it again. Thinking is nothing more than asking yourself deep and profound questions. When I say deep and profound, it means asking those questions that takes a little bit of time. You need to think about it, not a very surface level questions. Let me give you an example. If you ask yourself the question, why can't I make more money? That kind of quality of a question leads to poor answers, horrible answers. Because think about it. You ask your mind, well, why can't I make more money? What comes to mind? Well, because you suck, because you're no good, because you're not worthy, because nobody likes you, because nobody wants to buy your stuff, nobody wants to do business with you, or maybe you don't have enough experience, you don't have a track record, you don't have enough resources, you don't know the right people. All this shit, how does that help you in any way? A better question to ask maybe perhaps is, well, how can I make more money? But then that's also a very basic question. Basic question. But if you spend the time and you actually think about and sit down and dissect and you take the time to craft a very profound questions. So you could say, how can I make more money? How can you make that better? How can you make that question better? Okay, how about instead of being so vague and so general, instead of how can I make more money, how can I make more sales? There's a difference. If you run a business, how do I make more sales? Okay, how about let's make it even better? How can I make more sales without getting any new customers? That's interesting. You see how now you're thinking from a different perspective. How about this? Let me add one more layer. How can I add more sales? How can I make more sales without adding any new customers and without adding any new expense? Now see how that's a high quality question. What you do is thinking time. You put yourself in a quiet space. You write that questions at the top. How can I make more sales without adding any new customers, without adding any new expense? And now you sit down and you got a pen, a piece of paper, and you answer that. You take your time. Oh, well, I could sell more to my existing customers. Interesting. I can maybe increase my price so I can make more money. Interesting. Maybe I could also do a joint venture with someone where I only pay them on a performance basis. So if they bring in more sales, then I pay them. It doesn't add any more expense to what I do. That's interesting. Maybe I could also, instead of selling something one time, I can sell it in some kind of continuity. That's so my customers are paying me on an ongoing basis. Maybe some kind of membership. That's interesting. You see, that's thinking. It's not just, how can I make more money? You see, it's a very low level shit. When you take the time to think, that's how you grow. That's actually how you actually think and grow rich. This is very deep. So ponder on that. But if you get this one thing, this one skill, this is what makes you successful. That's the difference between the poor and the rich. The ability to think, to do accurate thinking on a consistent basis. That's the difference. Until next time, I'll see you in my Bentley.